The 116710LN is a black dial, black bezel GMT Master II, which was discontinued a couple years ago. Although it is no longer available brand new from Rolex, it is a fairly attainable steel sports model on the secondary market, whose going rate has been slowly and steadily decreasing. With the luxury watch market trending downward, now is a pretty good time to take advantage of that going rate, provided you like the design and provided that you missed out on this model prior to its discontinuation. I have seen several recent examples being listed for the same price of a new at retail Batgirl or Pepsi or Sprite. Now, how does this reference compare to the new updated current GMT Master II models? Well, it is extremely similar. And with Rolex going all bicolor with the GMT Master II line, it has become a little bit of a rarity to the extent that you can call a mass-produced watch with a multi-year production run a rarity. The truth is, there are very, very few rare Rolex models. This is the top-selling Swiss watch brand in the world, and second place is still a long ways behind. But that being said, this watch is a model that, while in production, was often passed over by consumers for the Batman, and then later on is often being passed over for the Batgirl, the Root Beer, the Pepsi, and the Sprite. So, if we look back at history, it can give us a good indication of what to expect in the future. And historically, unheralded and unhyped models have become collectibles. But if it is too odd of a design, not even rarity or quirkiness can turn a dud into a future hit. So one could realistically assume that this 116710LN will become a future fan favorite. It is conservative, it is versatile, it is not bold, it is not undersized, it has a respected and practical complication that is straightforward to service. It also makes subtle use of the brand color green. And speaking from my own experience, I think it is a great watch that feels at home going anywhere and doing anything. Now, a current model GMT Master II, will this be a more worthwhile purchase? I think it is a completely subjective question, but let me give you my own answer. When I bought this 116710 LN years ago, I wanted it over the BLNR or the Batman, and I still feel the same today with the current Batgirl. The Pepsi, on the other hand, I prefer aesthetically. I think the loud use of blue and red in the bezel is exactly what I think of when the word GMT Master comes to mind. And there is something fun about wearing a brand icon. So I would take a new Pepsi over this discontinued LN, but I would not take a new Batgirl, even though, again, this is a subjective question. But the last full steel GMT Master II to consider is the new VTNR or Sprite. This 2022 left-hand drive release is, in my opinion, the true successor of the 116710LN. It just has a little bit more of that lovely green brand color and the added uniqueness of being the only left-hand drive model that Rolex has produced in many decades. So this is also a model that I would take over a 116710LN. Now, answering a common viewer question, Bruce, is this GMT too similar to a Submariner? With the two models being visually similar, should I just buy a Sub? Good question, but again, let me share my own experience. When I decided I wanted to try a Holy Trinity watch brand, when I consolidated my own collection to responsibly upgrade into a Vacheron Constantin, I had both the GMT and the Sub in the collection at the same time. And although they are similar visually, I felt that they were different enough to coexist comfortably in the same watch rotation. But it was the 116710LN that I sacrificed en route to that blue-dialed overseas 4500V, and it was not the Hulk, which I still wear, I still use, and I still love today. But for the Submariner, I prefer the brushed center links of the Oyster bracelet, and I also prefer the more adjustable glide lock clasp, even though it is a little bit longer than the clasp on the GMT2. I also prefer the lovely sunray green dial of my reference Submariner to the lacquered look of the deep black dial that is found on the GMT2. But on the GMT2, I prefer the thinner case back. It makes the watch sit flatter and slightly more comfortably. And I also prefer the true GMT complication to the rather pedestrian or simple 3135 that is found within my sub. I also think that the GMT Master II looks best on the Jubilee bracelet, which is only an option on the current bicolor GMT Master II models. This 116710LN just does not have the distinctive look of our current gen GMT2 with that bicolor bezel and with that lovely Jubilee bracelet option. And that can be a good thing for you. You may prefer that, or it could be a turnoff. But as far as future appreciation and collectability goes, all steel sports Rolex appreciates. Some models appreciate more than others, but I feel comfortable in saying that future collectors will want the brand icons. They will want the brand oddities. And that means the Pepsi. That means the Sprite. That means, to a degree, the Batgirl. I think those are likely to be the most sought after in the future, just as they are currently. Maybe Rolex releases a Coke in the future. Maybe they bring back a diamond dial root beer. Maybe they officially do a Pan Am retro throwback. What I'm trying to say is the future is unknown. But what I think is the 116710LN will always be a good one to have. And outside of finding an unworn Safe Queen with full box, tags, receipt, etc., decades into the future, I just don't see the LN as being extremely collectible in that future date. Now, last point, I don't recommend buying Rolex with the main driving force behind the decision being future appreciation speculation. I wear my watches. I recommend other watch fans, they do the same thing. Buy the watch that you feel you would enjoy using the most. Be it a Sub, a Sprite, a Pepsi, an LN, a life well lived using these reliable and well-built GMTs is far more fulfilling than having a set of mass-produced sports watches sitting in a safe waiting for the day that they are sent to the auction house. Now, this video was made in response to a viewer email from Daniel, who is considering buying one of these 116710LNs while the market is soft. Daniel, I hope you enjoyed my response. If any of you have a question that you would appreciate my take on, please send me a message. I will see what I can do. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. Have a good one.